Strong start to the press conference schedule on Monday at the U.S. Open at Oakmont. There you can see Dustin Johnson, Matt Vokes, who's the amateur, Xander Schauffele, and Justin Thomas all addressed the media on Monday. And Tuesday on tap, Jon Rahm, Rory McIlroy, Bryson DeChambeau, Colin Morikawa, and Scottie Scheffler. On Wednesday, the USGA press conference will be held. And then Saturday, Johnny Miller and Jack Nicklaus will address the media. So cool indeed. All right, let's talk about what took place yesterday. We start with Dustin Johnson, the 2016 champion, right at Oakmont.
It feels really good. I mean, the course is just as hard as I remember, if not harder. But yeah, I mean, I like coming back here. I love the golf course. And the first time I played it, probably 2 weeks prior to the 2016 Open. So, yeah, I mean, it's obviously a lot of good memories from that year. And, coming back, I was back here one other time when I got my honorary membership here for that ceremony, which was really nice, and proud member of Oakmont. I'm probably their favorite member because I never come. But yeah, it's really nice to be back.
You won the U.S. Open here on a very wet week. How do the conditions right now compare to what you had that year?
They're really similar. I mean, it's soft, which makes the fairways a little bit easier to hit, and the greens a little bit easier to hold. But it plays longer, so you have longer clubs in. But the conditions right now are similar. Hopefully, it'll be dry. We won't get any more rain, and it'll dry out a little bit by Thursday.
If it's that hard, how did you shoot 4 under last time? Or 5 under? Take your pick.
5 under. I drove it really straight. I mean, I hit a lot of fairways. That was the only reason I shot that well. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, it seems like it's tougher this time around, but that's just maybe with a little bit of added length. It's going to make it a little more difficult. But yeah, somehow I figured out a way to get it under par.
On the right, Dave?
But yeah, it was mostly the driving. I mean, obviously, even driving in the fairway here, it's still really difficult. But I hit a lot of good drives and a lot of good iron shots.
What has your game been like the last few weeks?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like my game's been really close. Haven't really got a lot out of it. So it was definitely nice to have a nice finish last week. I played good every day. I didn't, still kind of giving away some shots that I need to clean that up a little bit. But played really solid every day. Hit it nice. Gave myself a lot of opportunities. Just still, kind of gave some shots away each round that you can't afford to do at a golf course like this. But it was nice to finally see the game progress a little bit. I know my score didn't reflect it at the PGA, but I actually played way better than the score. I just struggled a little bit on the greens. Well, maybe that's an understatement. I struggled really bad on the greens.
Have you felt that your game has slipped at all the last couple of years? And if it hasn't, is it just a fine line here between what you were accomplishing and maybe frustrations at the main?
Golf is a strange sport, and yeah, I mean, I don't feel like I've slipped any. My scores haven't reflected, what, but it is a really fine line. I mean, I remember a few years ago, I think I missed 2 cuts in a row. I think I shot 80-80, and then I won the next week. It's not, it's, for me, it's always really close to being good, but just getting back there and then keeping it consistent, which over the last couple months I've starting to see a lot of patterns, and the game feels like it's coming back into good form.
Can being back at a place where you won give you some type of edge or confidence or do anything for your game?
I mean, good memories here. Obviously, it was a long time ago, but yeah, I mean, I have confidence at this golf course because I know I played well, and but obviously this week is puts a lot of pressure on the driver. I feel like I'm driving the ball really good right now, so. But yeah, I mean, even from there though, it doesn't get much easier. But you definitely have to hit in the fairway if you want a chance to win around here.
From there, you heard me mention Xander Schauffele, and Xander Schauffele, who won 2 major championships last year. Is he poised to strike again in 2025?
I don't know. Maybe I'm just sick and enjoy the challenge. Something about it, playing really hard, and I think a good attitude goes a long way. So it's obviously a hard thing, easier said than done. Hard to keep a good attitude through the entire stretch of 72 holes. Nonetheless, practice rounds as well. So I don't know. I think they're a lot of fun.
When you have greens that are abnormally fast and rough that's abnormally long, do you think the skill sets for good players in those, I guess, areas are like accentuated by setups like this, or does it kind of get leveled out when it's all abnormal to you guys?
I think he just puts an emphasis on hitting the fairway and hitting greens. So if you're a premier ball striker, you'll be licking your chops. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, you're legit in the fairway in the first cut, or it's pretty hard to be in the bunker and have an open shot to a green. Typically, you seem to be up in it, so you're just kind of taking your medicine. And then if you're in the rough, it's very lie dependent. So I mean, for the most part, the only control you can have is if you keep it right in front of you.
Kind of mention how tough this course is. Where does that enjoyment come from in challenging yourself against places like this?
It's a challenge. It's challenging myself to try and hit every fairway, to try and hit every green, to try and be disciplined through and through. There's gonna be a point where you lay up into a bad spot, and it goes to laying up again from that layup spot. So, if you have a decent lie, you might try and take some risk, and that's part of the fun.
What's your definition of a good attitude?
Truly being positive, or for me at least, good attitude's being level-headed. I think I look pretty level-headed when I play, but internally I might be absolutely just thrashing myself. So I think truly having a good attitude is just sort of accepting what happened and allowing yourself to be pretty much at zero to hit the next shot.
How often are you thrashing yourself, do you think?
Pretty often, to be honest, Doug.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you okay with hack out rough if there's,
It's the U.S. Open, yeah.
Okay. I mean, because, some people think that's
I mean, I don't think people.
boring golf.
I don't think people turn the TV on to watch. Some of the guys just hit like a 200-yard shot on the green. You know what I mean? I think they're watching. They turn the U.S. Open to see a guy shooting 8 over and suffer. That's part of like the enjoyment of playing in the U.S. Open for viewers.
What's a reasonable winning score out here based on what you've seen so far?
Yeah, I mean, in 16 they got some rain as well, and
right.
From what I can remember, from what I've watched, guys were stopping iron shots. Guys had a few more irons off tees. I mean, not a lot, but I remember seeing a few guys hitting, I don't know, maybe three or four irons off tees. I feel like they've lengthened those holes to where they're not. I feel like you're only hitting maybe 1 iron off a tee this week, or maybe 2. So, I think anything close to par is sort of what they want here. I mean, the members absolutely love their property, and the members absolutely want it to be over par. So, I know what they're rooting for.
And generally, do you enjoy places that I guess are closer to par, or maybe where par feels like a better score than when it's 15, 17 under?
Yeah, you just got to get yourself there mentally. There's times where, I mean, the better you hit it, the more likely you are to feel like you might be able to, like 9, for example. I mean, if you hit a driver in the fairway on 9 every day, landing your ball into a pretty severely pitched green, like you might feel like you can birdie that hole a couple days. I know that's kind of weird to say with how like steep the green is. Birdies just you shouldn't even think about it. If you like pull or push an iron and it goes to tap in, like you should be stoked about it. But at the end of the day, like if take Scotty Scheffler for example, he's in the middle of every fairway. Like there takes a serious amount of discipline to play away from pins and hit really good shots to sort of safe targets, and that's what it takes to play well at U.S. Opens.
And then Justin Thomas, himself a two-time major champion, speaking to the fact that he's actually been playing pretty well this year. How does he feel he'll fare at Oakmont? Here you go.
I mean, I feel like you kind of take the course for what it is, and obviously Oakmont is Oakmont. You know what you're getting. It's pretty right in front of you, and you know, you just have to really try to be as sharp as you can. But you know, for me personally, I just feel like it's a great week to be in a great place mentally and very, very patient, and kind of picking our spots out there. So, you know, hopefully the weather can be nice to us the rest of the week and can soften or firm the course up a little bit, and it'll be a nice test.
What have you seen out of the course so far?
I just played 9 this morning. It's very, very soft. The fairways are, I mean, they've obviously gotten a lot of rain here the last couple weeks, I think, but you know, it's still extremely challenging. It's just, you know, hit the fairway, and then if you don't hit the fairway, you're just kind of trying to base off of the lie, figure out what you're doing from there the rest of the hole, and just try to minimize the damage when you get out of position.
On the right, Doug?
The USGA talks a lot about challenging your skill and challenging your head. How do they challenge the head?
I mean, I think the good thing for them, they're fortunate, you know, with kind of like the main core of U.S. Open courses, they don't really have to do anything to try to do that. You know, I mean, you go to a place like this, they don't need to set it up any differently or trick it up or do anything for it to challenge both the physical and mental part of our game. Oakmont is plenty challenging in both of those aspects, but you know, I just think it requires just patience and discipline. Just because it's, you know, if you just get lazy, like on any drive, any wedge shot, any chip, any putt, you know, you can kind of look stupid pretty fast, especially at a place like this.
What's it mean to have a good attitude?
It's a great question. I'm sure everybody would define it differently. I mean, I think for me, just being very committed to what I'm doing, being kind of accepting of the results, and being just very, very committed is for me. I think once I start second guessing myself or not, you know, trusting my instincts is kind of where I get myself in trouble. And then, you know, when I do that, then I naturally am pretty pissed off if it doesn't work out, because it wasn't because of the shot, it was more from the lack of commitment. So that's where it starts with me generally.
Obviously, the reputation here, a lot of it is with the greens and their firmness and speed and everything. Does the rain take any of that away, or are they still really difficult, still firm, or and if it's any less, does it make it any much easier?
Anytime the greens are softer, it's going to be easier than if they're firmer. But these greens are still far from normal or easy. I mean, it's you know, they're Jordan. I played with Jordan and Jackson Coyven today, and Jordan and I were saying it was we were still shocked for how soft the fairways were. The greens still had a little bit of bounce to them. I mean, they weren't firm by any means, but you know, they were still taking a hop with wedges and short iron still. But no, I mean, just the amount that the putts break and the amount, how quick some of the chips and around the holes can be, you know, it's still difficult if it's firm or soft. It just changes it a little bit if it's one or the other.
Are you against hack out rough, or are you okay with it?
I don't know. I mean, I'm fine with it. I don't know. I understand the strategy aspect. To people who are like, well, it doesn't require any thought. You just take a lob wedge and hack it out. But to me, it's like, well, at the same time, that just puts even more of a priority on hitting the ball straight, which I would think is going to lessen the chances of guys just pulling driver out of their bag and sending it as far as they can every hole. But also, I mean, you know, like Jackson had a lie on 15 today that we were kind of like thinking, is it a 6-iron? Is it open up a 6, or could you get 7? And he tried to hit 6-iron, and it looked like he could, and he hit it like 4 feet in front of him. So it's not like every time you hit in the rough, you're grabbing lob wedge and hitting out. You have to think, you know, how far can I hit this? And I think that, to me, there's no such thing as complete hack out rough. Like these guys, I mean, we're gonna get luck. A lot of people walking in the rough, you're gonna get some lies that are decent, but you're gonna have some tempting lies that may, guys might try to push the envelope when they shouldn't, kind of thing.
How much does this course psych a lot of the other players out who heard so much about this course and how difficult it is? And how do you maintain your mental focus after having played here in 2016?
I'm sure it does a lot. I mean, being perfectly honest and very selfish, I hope it psychs a lot of players out. But it's a part of the preparation, like trying to go hit wedges or trying to get the speed of the greens or anything. It's getting a game plan for how you're going to approach the course mentally and strategically. And I understand this place is hard. I don't need to read articles or I don't need to hear horror stories. Like I've played it, I know it's difficult, but I also have faith that if I go play well and I'm driving the ball well and hitting my irons like I know I can, I'm gonna have a lot of birdie opportunities. So I just need to kind of pick my spots and take the hole in the course for kind of what I have that day, kind of thing.